Hi, welcome to Cernys Journeys virtual road trip. Today we're going to go to Delaware. Just in case, go to cernysjourneys.com. You can download a map. All right, guys, let's find Delaware.
It's right by Maryland.
Correct, it is. It is by Maryland. It borders Maryland, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and the Atlantic Ocean. So, want to know some cool stuff about Delaware?
Yeah, they have a lot of friends.
Well, we'll talk about the shells in a second, but it was the first state to join the Union in December 7th, 1787. It's actually the second smallest state in the United States. It only has 3 counties. And funny enough, it does the thinnest part, I can't think of the word, it's only 35 miles across and it's 100 miles from top to bottom. So pretty small. It was named after the Delaware River in honor of Sir Thomas West, who at the time, he was the governor of the colony of Virginia. So the capital is Dover, and let's talk a little bit about some cool things. I picked this fact out just for you, Cora.
What?
Do you know the state insect? Can you guess what it might be? It's one of your favorites.
Beetle?
It's not a beetle.
What?
It's close.
My favorite is beetle.
Is it? Okay, well, it's a ladybug.
They're not my favorite at all.
Okay, well, I thought they were, because every time we are outside and you see one, you say oh, and you love it and you pick it up.
I think I think there was a picture that used to be on her tablet, her holding a ladybug. Yes.
Yep, that's very true, because she loves ladybugs. I guess now we're into beetles, which I know she was into beetles, but
they feel weird.
they do feel funny, their feet. Anyways,
Yeah, that's why I picked
so
them.
another fun fact, and hence why we have our shells out, is because the state declared a state shell. It's the channeled whelk, which these are some examples of the channeled whelk. I will tell you, none of these came from Delaware, but we actually as a family like going shelling when we are out and about, and we are places where there is water. And so we've collected all of these, but these are some examples.
In Florida.
Yeah, Florida's one of the places. This one actually came from Cape Cod in Massachusetts, so probably it's pretty close. It probably would be a good example of maybe what would come up in Delaware. But the typical channeled whelk is 5 to 8 inches in length. So this is some smaller ones and some bigger ones that we've found. So very cool. In fact, they do say that this one is very close. They say these, and then some of these from Florida also would be good examples of what you could find in Delaware. So that's kind of cool. Did you know what are these homes for? Do you know?
Crabs.
Yeah.
Snails.
Yeah. Crabs and snails live in shells, which is kind of fun too. So, anyways, this is a very small collection of our shells. We've collected them all over the U.S. as well as when we go overseas and we go to a beach, we collect them there too.
I like seashells.
You do too. What else do you know? What else we collect when we go? Sea glass.
Sea glass.
Sea glass. That's right. Oh, yeah. Your doll has a shell. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about some things, cool things about Delaware. So Delaware is the only state without any national park system. So they have no national parks or seashores, no historic sites. I know. It's the only one in the whole state that doesn't have it. So we're going to talk about a few things. The reason why we have a log cabin, Jamin was awesome enough to build his log cabin because we have Lincoln logs. The log cabin originated originally in Finland. So when the Finnish came over to Delaware and they settled there about in the mid 1600s, they brought plans on how to build log cabins, and that's where they would first live. So it's one of the symbols of the American pioneer. If you want to see a good example of that, the Delaware Architecture Agriculture, Museum in Dover has that. And you can go on their website. It's agriculturalmuseum.org. And they have a lot of things there where you can learn about Delaware as well as the agriculture. And they have a makeshift village, which they also have the first preserved log cabin there. So kind of cool. Another thing we wanted to talk about is the Underground Railroad. Do you guys know what the Underground Railroad is? I don't know if you guys have talked about that in school.
No.
You might be too young.
No. Was
All
it
right.
like the one in England?
No, definitely.
Delaware.
No, definitely not. So the Underground Railroad was a network of secret routes and safe houses established across the U.S. in the late 1800s. And it was used to help the enslaved African Americans, so there were slaves in the country at that point in time. And it would help them escape to some of the free states and in Canada. And the Underground Railroad was really big in Delaware. And so there is the Delaware Underground Railroad. They have a trail history. So Harriet Tubman was really big into the Underground Railroad. And in fact, she was probably the most influential with that whole system. And so she was the one who organized this during the colonial period. So 1830, 1865. And it went through Delaware. On the road to getting to Pennsylvania and Canada were the main places that they were going. So there's a lot of cool information on that. I know visit wilmingtonde.com has a lot of information on it as well as you can go to the Delaware Historical Society, so dehistory.org, and there are videos and information there about the African American experience in Delaware and their journey to freedom. So kind of cool history there. The last thing we wanted to talk about is Bombay Hook. Bombay Hook is a wildlife refuge in Delaware. It's along the eastern coast of Delaware on Delaware Bay. And it was established in 1937 as a refuge and a breeding ground for many migratory birds. And so there they have some cool waterfowl, which means Canadian geese and snow geese, different kinds of ducks. And I know that there's a lot of eagles there as well. And then they have two other things. They have a freshwater piece, which has some cool places for habitats for these birds, as well as the tidal salt marsh. And so the tidal salt marsh is supposed to be one of the most valuable habitats on the refuge. And it really helps a lot of these species in the conservation of these species. And so, again, right now, if you go to their website, it's fws.gov. And then Bombay Hook. Right now, we'll talk about March because it's March right now. It's the spring waterfowl migration. So a lot of ducks, snow geese, and Canadian geese are there. The woodchucks and turtles are starting to come out of hibernation. Remember what hibernation means?
I want woodchuck.
You want a woodchuck? Well, do you know what hibernation means?
Yes.
What does it mean?
Staying in winter.
Yep, they were sleeping all winter long. Well, they're starting to wake up. A lot of the flowers, so the red maples and alders are starting to bloom, and then the deer ticks are starting to emerge.
You tick.
I know. And so in April is when the bald eagle's eggs start to hatch. So there's a lot of bald eagles that actually have nests there, and they start nesting in January and start laying their eggs in February. And so next month you'll be able to start seeing some of those eagles' eggs hatch. So I know there's a lot of live webcams on eagles' nests, so be sure to check that out. I'm sure they have some there too. So that is it on Delaware.
It was a fun trip.
Yeah, it was fun. Did you have fun? Did you learn a lot?
Yes.
Awesome, cool. Well,
Thumbs up.
thumbs up,
Like and subscribe.
thumbs up.
Bye.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.